After decades of marriage, I found out my husband was having an affair. The other woman was much younger than me, just 20 years old. When I confronted him, he coldly said,
"Please divorce me for her. I'll give you custody of the kids."
I was so shocked, I couldn't find the words. And to make matters worse, he had gotten his mistress pregnant. I told my daughters about the situation, and I decided to go along with a suggestion they made. Just you wait. I'll have my revenge in time. My name is Natasha, and I'm 47 years old. I married Kevin, who's the same age as me, when we were both 25. And in the blink of an eye, 20 years have passed. We have 3 daughters. The oldest is in college, and the other 2 are in high school. They're not quite independent yet, but they're old enough to take care of themselves. With the girls needing less attention, I was able to throw myself into work, which I love. I've worked for a major corporation since before I was married, and earn more than my husband. Plus, the house we live in was given to me by my parents, so we have no mortgage and can live comfortably. With our daughters grown up, my husband and I had more time for each other. One evening, while having a beer together, he excitedly suggested,
"Hey, Natasha, the kids are getting older. How about we take a trip? Just the 2 of us, for old time's sake."
Really? I can't remember the last time we went on a trip together.
"You're always taking care of me, and we both work hard. A little luxury won't hurt."
That's true. The kids are old enough to handle things on their own now. Maybe we should leave the housework to them?
Yeah, that sounds good. Now that it's settled, I need to coordinate our time off. Where would you like to go?
A spa would be nice and relaxing.
A spa, huh? That does sound nice,
he replied, starting to plan the trip with a happy look on his face. Seeing him so happy, like a kid, made me smile too. Whenever I found the time, whether at work or on my commute, I started checking out travel sites. We began to narrow down our destination, and I had already told our daughters about the trip. Him suggesting the trip made me very happy. A month after we talked about the trip, on a day when we were supposed to finalize the plans, I waited for him to come home. He's usually home by the time I get back, but not that day. Even when I got home, he wasn't there, and the girls didn't know where he was either. He usually calls if he's going to be late, so I started to worry something had happened. If there was still no contact after midnight, I decided to call him. As I was thinking this, he finally came home after 11 p.m. "Welcome back. I was worried. You were so late," I said as I hurried to greet him, but he had a somber look on his face. "What's wrong? Something happened at work?" I asked him, and slowly he began to speak.
"Natasha, I have something to tell you."
"What's the matter? You seem so serious."
"I've been having an affair."
"Come again?"
"I said I'm seeing someone else, another woman."
I was in shock, unable to speak properly. An affair? My husband? While confused, I somehow managed to ask him, "What are you talking about? You having an affair?"
"You know, don't you? It's been going on for a year."
"A year? Tell me, that's not true. You've never shown any sign of..."
"I've been careful not to get caught. I met with her after work, or when you were working late and on days off. I'd say I was going to work.
That can't be true. You would never do something like that. In an attempt to calm my distressed state, he took my shoulders, looked me straight in the eyes, and began to speak again.
I'm really sorry, but there's no turning back now.
No turning back? Cut it out with the jokes. We've been together for 20 years.
That's just the way it is. Please, divorce me for her sake.
Divorce? For her sake? What are you talking about? We were just talking about going on a trip together recently.
I'm truly sorry.
I couldn't understand a word he was saying. It was as if he had become a completely different person. I pressed him for answers, tears streaming down my face, and he began to explain everything. It turned out that the other woman was a younger colleague from his office, a 20-year-old temp, no less. She had started working there about a year ago, and, by chance, had become his mentor. They began to spend time together after hours, teaching her the ropes and sharing coffee breaks. Eventually, after a few meals out, their relationship turned intimate.
She's really naive and cute, and she can't do without me.
No. To think, and she's 27 years younger. Hearing him talk about her charms made me feel like I had none. Amidst this, he dropped an unbelievable bombshell.
Remember, I said I wanted a divorce for her sake? Turns out, she's pregnant.
Excuse me? Pregnant?
So, I've decided I want to marry her and take responsibility. Thankfully, our daughters are old enough now.
Hold on. That's irrelevant. There are daughters.
Don't worry. I'll give you custody,
he offered, as if that was supposed to be comforting. What? I was dumbfounded, but he was grinning as we spoke about something so serious. Did he actually think that just handing over custody would make me agree? I felt mocked, and my sadness quickly turned to anger. Before I knew it, I was shouting louder than I ever had before. Enough with this nonsense. This is too much.
But what can I do? The new baby is more important to me now.
Then why did you suggest we go on a trip? I was really looking forward to that.
I had no idea she was pregnant at that time.
So, if she hadn't been pregnant, you would have kept cheating on me? Behind my back?
Anyway, I'm bringing her over tomorrow. We'll talk again then,
he said, dodging the issue. And then he quickly pulled out the completed divorce papers and headed to the bath. What the hell? He confesses to cheating and now she's pregnant? How much more can he belittle me? I felt like a fool for having prepared dinner and waited for him. I was tormented by a whirlwind of emotions. Yet, no matter how angry I got, the situation wouldn't change. I reluctantly decided to confront the reality of my husband's affair. The next day, true to his word, he brought the other woman home. I told our daughters to stay in their room and had him and his mistress sit on the sofa. The woman, who introduced herself as Lisa, apologized to me as soon as she sat down. I'm truly sorry for this mess. Your apologies don't fix anything. You realize we have 3 daughters. I am aware. But for the sake of the child I'm carrying, could you please divorce Kevin? Excuse me? Why should I destroy my family for your child? I said, feeling my blood boil. Without hesitation, she asked for a divorce, and in a moment of rage, I shouted, "Who the hell do you think you are, asking for a divorce?" At that moment, she covered her mouth dramatically. Kevin looked at her concerned.
Hey, Lisa. Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry, Kev. I just feel a bit...
Must be morning sickness. What do you want to do? Need the restroom?
Thank you. Could you show me where it is?
Of course. Right this way.
I've never seen my husband behave like a gentleman before. He hesitantly helped her out of the bathroom, saying,
Lisa, please, don't overdo it. Remember, you're carrying our precious baby.
Right. I'm sorry. I just got scared all of a sudden when Natasha yelled at me.
I'm sorry. You're right. None of this would have happened if that Natasha had just agreed to the divorce like a normal person.
No, it's okay. This is just another challenge we have to overcome to be together. It was like a scene out of a movie, watching him and his mistress holding hands with smiles on their faces. In that moment, my feelings for him froze over with incredible speed. If I had just agreed to the divorce? Is that what you just said? How dare you? Are you trying to blame me? You're the one who cheated, not me. I'm so done with this. Fine, let's get a divorce then. Arguing any further seemed ridiculous, so I agreed to the divorce. Immediately after, I kicked him and his mistress out and locked the door. The girls must have heard our voices. They showed up and asked, "Mom, is what you guys just said true?" I nodded slightly in response. I couldn't hide it anymore. I called my daughters to the living room to tell them about their father's affair. So, that's the deal. Your dad and I are getting a divorce. You girls will need to decide who you want to live with. Together, my daughters responded, "Well, obviously we're staying with you, Mom." "Of course. But, it would be boring if Dad didn't get punished at all." "True." "Well then, let's get back at him and that new woman." Right after they proposed a plan. Just like their mother, they're clever. Though I was initially surprised, I agreed to go along with their plan and put on an act. A few days later, I contacted Kevin to talk about alimony and asked him to come over alone. When he arrived, I immediately started the discussion. After the divorce, I'll definitely be asking for alimony. Also, I want you to take custody of the kids. His eyes went wide as he said, "What?" Just then, the girls came in. Seeing them, he quickly tried to talk them into living with their mother, saying, "Hey, you guys should live with your mom, right?" "Why would we?" "We're actually thinking of staying with you, Dad. It's our choice, and you have this stable income, right?"
Whoa, hold up. Your mom makes more money than me. Trying to persuade him, the girls brushed him off. "It's okay. We just need our usual allowance." "Yeah, as long as we 3 sisters are together, we're good." "That's right. Actually, you should feel honored that we're even considering living with you, Dad." "Well..." He was confused, but he couldn't argue with the girls' wishes. Plus, he's always been weak when it comes to their pressure. He reluctantly agreed to take custody. Since he caused the divorce, there would be no child support from me. I would simply collect alimony from him and his mistress. The next day, I submitted the divorce papers. I got $50,000 from my husband and $30,000 from his mistress, all paid in one lump sum. The girls would stay at my place on the weekends, but live with their father and his mistress the rest of the time. They were living in the small apartment where his mistress used to live,
undoubtedly a tight fit for 5 people. But all of this was part of the plan. Just you wait. You'll definitely regret betraying me and our daughters by cheating. 2 months later, just when I was starting to wander, my ex-husband and Lisa barged into my house, just as I expected.
Hey, what's with those girls?
I can't handle such spoiled girls. I'm at my limit. Both of them were red in the face and complaining at the top of their lungs. I responded calmly. Don't be rude. All 3 are my pride and joy. They're all good kids.
Cut it out. How are they good kids? They're always complaining about wanting sushi or not getting enough allowance.
Exactly. And why should we have to pay for their tuition and textbooks? That's not what we signed up for. Oh, come on. Of course you should. You 2 are their parents, after all.
The house is too cramped to live in. A family of 5 in a small apartment with just a living room, dining room, and kitchen? I've never heard of such a thing.
Right. That apartment was rented for me to live in alone. The neighbors complain nonstop, and the landlords already asked us to leave. Well, that's your own fault. Besides, the girls said they want to live with their dad, so what can you do?
Well,
They both looked bitter and were at a loss for words. After a silence, Kevin hung his head and said in a low voice,
Please, take them back.
What was that?
I said take them back. We're going to have a baby soon. We can't properly raise a child if we have to keep listening to the girls' whims.
What? Those girls are your kids too. Don't complain to me now.
When did you become such a heartless person? You're the worst. Completely inconsiderate.
Kevin and Lisa were livid and yelling. I let out a big sigh and retorted sarcastically. The worst and completely inconsiderate? You're talking about yourselves, right?
Huh?
Cheating on me, secretly having a child, and to top it off, asking for a divorce for your girlfriend. Who was it that betrayed us first, I wonder?
That's all in the past now. Don't dig that up again.
It seemed he still didn't understand how selfish he was being. He and his mistress were teaming up against me, but I didn't hold back. Cut it out. The past? Don't make it sound like it's already over. Do you have any idea how the girls and I felt? We were betrayed out of the blue, of course. There's damage. And yet, you keep saying whatever you want.
I apologized for the affair, didn't I? Just take the girls back, please.
Fine. The girls would be better off away from a jerk like you. But in exchange, you're going to pay child support. You have a responsibility as a father until all those girls are grown up and on their own.
I can't cover that with just my salary.
Like I care. Don't start making pathetic excuses now. If you weren't ready, you shouldn't have casually gotten your mistress pregnant. If you get the picture, then get out of here right now. And never show your face here again. He went pale and slumped to the ground. After hanging his head for a while, he muttered to Lisa that they should go home. At that moment, Lisa, who had been silent until then, slapped him hard across the face. Are you kidding me? You're telling me you have to pay alimony, you're in debt, and on top of that, child support? No way. What's the point of lying now?
What are you talking about, Lisa? What lie? Are we going to raise our precious baby together?
There is no baby. Her unexpected revelation brought time to a standstill. He stuttered in shock.
No baby? We're not having a baby?
The pregnancy was a lie. I just thought you had money, so I wanted to marry you.
What are you saying, Lisa? Tell me you're joking.
This house you bragged about is actually your wife's. I can't get the house, I'm being sued for alimony, and I'm stuck with these annoying girls. I've had enough. There's nothing good about being married to you. I want a divorce right now.
Lisa, please.
The ex-husband, with tears in his eyes, clung to her. Get off! Move, I'm leaving. She shook him off and briskly walked out of the house. My ex, who had just been dumped by his mistress like trash, apologized to me then and there.
Please forgive me. Give me another chance to make things right.
I was begged repeatedly, but of course I refused. I immediately kicked him out of the house and called my daughters back. Afterwards, I started the formal process of regaining custody of my daughters and demanded child support from Kevin. With his savings drained from paying alimony, the child support for 3 must have been quite a burden. Furthermore, employees at his company witnessed the quarrel with Lisa, and their relationship quickly became known, leading to the end of Lisa's contract work. He was relegated to an inconsequential position also. His salary was reduced, and he faced a tough life, even harsher than before, with child support payments waiting. He was left with nothing, struggling just to get by each month. Now I hear he's become quite gaunt from not being able to afford proper meals. When I told my daughters, they high-fived each other with big smiles. Our revenge was a resounding success, and we celebrated together, the 4 of us. Now, the life of us 4 women begins. I want to take responsibility as a parent and ensure my daughters grow up to be fine adults even without a father.